Everyone who knows me knows how much of a survival games fan I truly am. And throughout the years, I've carved out a pretty good idea of what a survival game is and should be. To many of you, it may not come as a surprise, but within a big part of the survival community, No Man's Sky is often overlooked. Therefore, I took it upon myself to figure out why. It's Wave Boogie. Before we jump into the reasons behind its lack of survival appeal, let's take a minute to shed light on the actual survival aspects of the game. As you begin a new adventure, you're greeted by multiple difficulty options from normal, survival, permadeath, and even custom options to make things even more extreme. However, that does not make it a survival game now, does it? Well, not really, but will greatly contribute to the intensity of your gameplay. The game has all the bells and whistles you would expect in any survival game, like in-depth sandbox base building, with enough build pieces and decorations to let your imagination run wild. There is an entire niche within the community that dedicates their time to building the most outrageous homes, bases, compounds, and even entire cities. While hunger and thirst is not within the mechanics, life management is not totally off the table, as you will have to replenish your suit's oxygen and shields, as well as manage your ships. Therefore, resource farming will come into play, especially early game. Now, to be totally honest, once you get the ball rolling and have money, farming resources becomes less prominent in your day-to-day game loop, but still worth noting, as it is harder depending on your difficulty or how barren the planet you're on. Personally, I love making bases, especially on deadly, fiery planets with erupting volcanoes, prepping my expeditions to make sure I have enough resources to make an outpost as soon as I land, explore an uncharted world for exotic items you couldn't find on your starter planet. I could go on, but you get the point. No Man's Sky is an incredible interplanetary exploration game rooted in survival, but yet rarely acknowledges one. The first thing that comes to mind is the stigma behind its launch in 2016 and the residual effects and ramifications of it, right? To a degree, yes. But I think there's a lot more to it. It's no secret that Hello Games has had arguably the roughest launch in gaming history, fighting for the throne with Cyberpunk perhaps. Unfortunately, some of the initial damage simply can't be undone for some people, and has refused to give the game another chance, like a jaded ex-friend who won't invite you over on game night because you broke the TV remote. Look, what I'm trying to say is this: it's 2023, and since 2016, Hello Games has been releasing DLC after DLC for free, with gameplay expansions. Not just stability and QOL, mind you. They vowed to never charge us a dime for all of that content, and has stayed true to it. The game's current state is above and beyond what they originally promised and failed to deliver on. All that to say that no matter how big this redemption story is, and trust me, this is the biggest redemption arc in gaming history, some people simply feel robbed and wronged, rightfully so maybe, and will never return to experience this behemoth of a game in its full glory. Another thing worth noting is the style and direction of the game. It is notoriously sci-fi at its core, and some people think of survival games as banging on a rock and tree to make a spear or hatchet. While I love that kind of survival too, some folks feel overwhelmed by extreme science fiction and simply isn't their cup of tea. Another possibility is the game's core in itself. Let's not pretend that this isn't first and foremost a space game. I know, right? Shocking. Space games are a niche in itself that caters to a specific crowd, and I'm gonna go on a limb and say that the majority of its core player base are spaceship flying space game fans. A direct side effect of that would be the majority of players overlooking the survival aspect of the game to become space truckers, traders, salvagers, pirates hunting down other players in PvP, among many other activities the game offers. So is this a jack of all trades, master of none syndrome type of thing? In this case, absolutely not. No Man's Sky is brilliant in all of these aspects, and nothing feels like an afterthought. While this is not the end-all be-all of survival games for the ages, it is a prominent and well thought out feature that deserves its flowers. So if you're one of these people that was originally upset with the game, perhaps someone who was turned off by the heavy space aspect, maybe the game somehow flew under your radar for all these years, or you simply didn't know it was also a vast and fun survival game, now may be the time to give it a chance. Well, these were my 2 cents. Thank you very much for watching, and if you know of a survival game that didn't get a fair shake in the survival community, kind of like No Man's Sky, let me know in the comments. Would love to talk about it. And on that note, I'm out.